Welcome to Lesson 6, the closer of Stage 2, where everything we've built around detection finally lands somewhere useful. Until now, we've talked about scenarios overflowing, but we've glossed over what actually happens at that moment. Two things, really. An alert gets logged for humans to read, and a decision gets created for bouncers to act on. Both of those live inside the LAPI, the local API. And by the end of this lesson, you'll be querying it directly with curl, routing decisions through profiles, YAML, and registering your first bouncer. So let's clear up the single biggest source of confusion in CrowdSec. Alerts and decisions are not the same thing. An alert is a forensic record. It tells you what happened, when, and why, and it's read by humans, dashboards, and SIEMs. A decision is an actionable instruction. Block this IP for this long, and it's what bouncers actually consume. Every overflow produces exactly one alert, but 0 or more decisions, and that's controlled by a single field in your scenario, labels.remediation. Set it to false and you get pure IDS mode, visibility without enforcement. So where do those alerts and decisions actually go? They land in the LAPI, the local API, which despite its modest name is the central nervous system of CrowdSec. It's just an HTTP server on port 8080 with a SQLite database behind it, but it's the meeting point for everything. Agents post their alerts to it, bouncers poll it every 10 seconds for fresh decisions, and the community API quietly syncs block lists into it from the side. Push on the left, pull on the right, truth in the middle. And that SQLite file behind the LAPI? It's beautifully simple, just 4 tables. Alerts hold every overflow your scenario's ever fired, with the full context, events, source, geo. Decisions are the active and expired bands, each pointing back to the alert that justified it. That's what bouncers actually consume. Machines and bouncers are pure auth tables. One tracks your agents by SHA-256 password, the other tracks your enforcers by API key. One alert, many decisions. Remember that relationship, it'll matter when we start tuning ban times. Now, what actually turns an alert into a decision? That's profiles.yaml, the router sitting between your scenarios and the LAPI's decisions table. Look at this real-world setup. Profile 1 catches a specific severe SSH brute force CVE and slaps on a 24-hour ban, then breaks. Profile 2 escalates repeat offenders, more than 3 alerts from the same IP, to a full week. Anything else falls through to a gentle 4-hour default. Top-to-bottom evaluation. First match wins when you set on success to break. Order matters here, so put your most specific profiles first. Once decisions are written, somebody has to read them. And that's where the HTTP API comes in. The LAPI really only has 5 endpoints that matter. Get decisions returns everything active. The stream variant returns a diff of what's new and what's expired. And that's the one bouncers poll every few seconds. Alerts gives you forensic history. Posting to alerts is how agents push findings in, and heartbeat is the keep alive. Authenticate with an XAPI key header for bouncers, a JWT for agents, and you can curl any of these yourself when something looks off. So how does a bouncer actually authenticate? The lifecycle is 4 steps. You generate a key with sudo scli-bouncers add my bouncer, and pay attention because it's printed exactly once. You paste it into the bouncer's config alongside the LAPI URL, and from then on, every request carries it in the XAPI key header. If the bouncer ever gets compromised, CSCLI bouncer's delete kills it instantly, and every future call comes back 401. One footnote. Agents use a completely different scheme, SHA-256 password plus JWT, which is why machines and bouncers show up in separate CSCLI lists. Now, with bouncers in mind, let's talk about your day-to-day toolkit. CSCLI is just a thin wrapper around the LAPI HTTP API, and these 6 commands cover almost everything you'll do as an SRE. Start with alerts list to see what's been triggered, then alerts inspect with details to drill into a specific incident. You'll get the captured log lines, the scenario tree, source geolocation, and every linked decision. Filter by scenario, time window, or IP when you're hunting. Check metrics, show alerts decisions for system health. Register remote agents with machines add, and keep your SQLite database lean by pruning alerts older than 720 hours. Memorize these. You'll type them every day. Everything you've seen so far assumes one server, but real production rarely looks like that. The pattern scales beautifully. You promote one host to be the central LAPI, switch its database from SQLite to Postgres, bind it to the network, and put it behind Nginx if you like. Then on every other server, you register the agent with CSCLI machines add, point its config at the central URL, and disable the local LAPI so it acts as a pure detector. 5 changes, and suddenly bouncers on any host can see attacks discovered by sister servers. That's true fleet protection, and Lesson 12 walks through the complete setup. Before we close out the lesson, let's bank some hard-won troubleshooting wisdom. 5 gotchas every LAPI operator eventually hits. A bouncer getting 401s usually means a revoked key or a stray new line in the config. Check the revoked column in CSSCLI bouncers list. A bloated database means garbage collection isn't keeping up, so tune the retention or cron a weekly cleanup. Alerts firing but no decisions? Your profile or scenario is missing a remediation. Duplicate IP tables rules mean the bouncer lost its state file between restarts, and in a multi-server setup, empty alerts on the central LAPI almost always means an agent is still talking to its local one. Recognize the symptom, apply the fix. With the troubleshooting playbook in your back pocket, let's recap the 6 skills that close out stage 02. You learned the difference between an alert and a decision. One is forensic, the other actionable. You map the LAPI architecture, an HTTP server on 8080 backed by SQLite, with agents pushing, bouncers pulling, and CAPI syncing in the background. You can name the 4 tables, route verdicts through profiles. YAML, hit the 5 HTTP endpoints, and walk a bouncer through its full auth lifecycle. Detection is fully transparent now. Lesson 07 starts stage 03, where these decisions finally become enforcement. And that closes out stage 02. Detection is done. You've got the 4 check marks: alert versus decision, LAPI architecture, profiles.yaml, and the bouncer handshake. Next up, Lesson 07 kicks off stage 03, response, where we install our first firewall bouncer, wire it into IP tables and NF tables, and finally watch those decisions turn into dropped packets. See you in stage 03.